You can see our guest today on YouTube discussing and making her way through games like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Fortnite, and Super Mario 64. But what I'm curious about is why she's playing these games, or at least part of the reason why. You can find her on YouTube, Instagram, and Threads at Cathy Plays. That's Cathy with a C. And if you're going to get someone from the channel Cathy Plays, it's usually good to get Cathy. And that's who we have here today. We have Cathy. How are you, Miss Cathy?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you. And you?
I'm fantastic, fantastic. Delighted to have you. Okay, so when I came across, I think I originally came across your socials. I think it was on Threads. And what drew me to you immediately was your tagline, which is it was something to the effect of, "My name is Catherine and I have anxiety." Now, I've got experience with anxiety myself. I've had trouble, holding down jobs because of it. I was in an inpatient facility for about a month because of it. So I know where you're coming from in terms of anxiety, but what was so cool to me is how open and upfront you are about it. So I mean, what's your history like with anxiety? I mean, is it something that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis? How does it manifest for you?
Yeah, it's something that I think I was just born anxious. It's always been a part of who I am, unfortunately, but also maybe good because maybe there's some situations that I prepare for because I overthink them.
Right.
But it also prevents me from doing a lot of stuff, but I just don't do what I'm not comfortable with. But yeah, I basically I've dealt with anxiety all my life. I remember being a kid and super anxious about, nightmares. Of course, I
Yeah.
think all struggle with having nightmares, but I was so afraid that I would sleep for days in my parents' rooms because I was just so anxious that this monster in my dreams was going to get me. Kind of
Mm.
like what is that with Friday the 13th?
Yeah, there you go. Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah. And or Nightmare on Elm Street. There you go. Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
Uh, but there was yeah, a time where like I knew how to kind of cope with it a little bit early, where as a kid I was obsessed with dolphins. I love dolphins. And so
really?
in order to kind of soothe myself, so I would like relax and fall asleep, I would think about dolphins. And I had told this to my family doctor at the time, and she thought it was incredible for a child so young to already have such good coping mechanisms.
I was gonna say you developed your own coping mechanism.
Yeah, yeah, and growing older, I realized that this is just a very baseline way of coping, and I like actually like I didn't know until it kind of all came full circle and it made sense at the end.
It all kind of came together for you.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so we know you've got a long history with anxiety, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But how did you discover video games then? Was that an early age too?
Like probably I've always been into video games. It started with my cousins introducing it to me. My brother was big into like sports video games as a kid.
Hmm.
And it was just video games has always been there. So it's always been something that I would just kind of navigate to when I just wanted to like distract myself from reality. I go to video games.
Right.
Um and yeah, it helped a lot, like during hard times in school and hard events throughout, throughout my life.
Do you remember what your first one was?
First one, like my first game, or the first one that helped me with anxiety.
Well, first game or one of the first ones. What did you like early on? Let's put it that way.
I think, we'll just go back to like the very start where I think my first game that I probably picked up and played was the Super Mario All-Stars. So like Super Mario World, you go to your
Oh
and
yeah.
the old school stuff on the Super Nintendo.
I was gonna say
And
I had me a Super
like
Nintendo too.
yeah, I still have it, but it doesn't work anymore.
Oh,
So
naturally.
can't I can't play my my
What
first
is
game.
it it's on? What is it it's on All Stars? It's the original one. It's Mario 3. And then they've got that Lost Levels game, and then there's a fourth one, right?
There's a like yeah, there's a Super Mario Bros. And then he's like in the undergrounds, and
Yeah.
yeah, I just my favorite one of those I think was like the one where you can ride Yoshi.
Oh, okay. Super Mario World.
Yeah,
There you
Yeah,
go. Excellent.
exactly. So I think like that was like my first game that really, really got me into the whole world of it. I think shortly after that, it must have been A Link to the Past.
Okay, I know that one too. I'm not as proficient with that one, but I've played it. So
Honestly, I don't think I beat it either, but it introduced me more into just like this whole like story-based game a little
yeah, it
bit.
brought you into the world.
Yeah.
So were you hooked instantly, or was it one of those things like me where you kind of sucked at first and you had to go get into it a little more? I mean, was it an instant thing, or did you have to work your way up to it?
I think I initially I was very bad,
Yeah.
but I just liked being able to like pick it up and go. Like in addition to that, I think the Mario game was probably my first game, but I also played a lot of I just remembered this, like a lot of computer games.
Okay.
And Lion King was one of them. So I remember
Okay.
like Lion King. Yeah, I just remember the CD, but it was like, yeah, I'd always like go on my computer and play my games. It was a great way for me to entertain myself. The computer world, the video game world was so new. My parents had no idea about it.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mind
okay.
you, like, like they're like my parents are so this was completely new to the world. It's
Yeah.
introduced to me, but then I grew up with it and I was
Hmm.
just like glued. I was just glued to it. And so like I have two siblings and they're much
Hmm.
older than me, but they were all moved out. So I had to
Okay.
find ways to entertain myself because I didn't have my siblings to play with. So computer or video games were a big thing.
So you kind of had like an
And
almost an only child situation going on there.
I had like best of both worlds. I had siblings, but I also felt like an only child.
There you go. There you
So
go.
it was great. It was great. And yeah, so I played my computer games and video games.
So how
And
did you so how did you discover then that gaming helped with anxiety? Was it just one of those things that early on you kind of made the connection? Is it a way to like is it a route of escapism? What's it like for you?
you know, I think I had realized that video games helped with my anxiety a lot just within the last couple of years.
Really? Okay.
And looking back on my video game experience, my video game life, I realized that there was a lot of like heavier times in my life where things would happen, and in order to kind of push through and get through them, like I'd throw myself into focusing on something. So
Hmm.
when it like part of it was, having to do my schoolwork.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't the schoolwork, then I picked up the game and was focused on that because my brain's then not thinking about the bad
Yeah.
time, thinking about the problem solving in the game, which is much more
Sure.
enjoyable.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, what are you playing these days? I think as we're recording this, you just put up another Ocarina of Time video.
Yeah, I uploaded that this morning. I've been trying to do like a 2 videos a week type thing. So I was like, oh shoot, I have to get that up. So I just quickly
Nice.
uploaded that to go. So right now, yeah, I'm playing Ocarina of Time on Twitch,
Okay.
streaming live on Twitch. Actually, no, I finished that. Then I moved on to Majora's Mask, and then now
Hmm.
we're currently playing through Twilight Princess, kind of doing
Okay.
a Zelda binge
There you go. Hey,
a
nothing
little
wrong
bit.
with that. No, what's your platform of choice? Like, you're playing these through your computer, right? I know I'm an old man. You got to forgive me. I'm a little tech illiterate.
These games I'm actually playing on the GameCube.
Oh, okay. There
So I
you
have I have my GameCube set up. I have the discs and everything, and yeah, I have this little adapter that I can connect it all
go. Okay.
through and be able to stream it. So everyone's so impressed. Like it's not like I was playing Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask on like my Nintendo
Yeah,
64,
I was gonna say
but
that's the old school.
those are the old school first ones. But GameCube is still pretty retro. So everyone's like, "Oh, are you playing it through an emulator?" I'm like, "No, I'm
Oh,
playing it
geez.
on GameCube."
Oh,
And yeah, so I'm playing that. My system of choice though, it really changes. It really
okay.
changes just like depending on like where I'm situated or like what game I'm playing. So right now I'm playing two games,
Okay.
kind of trying to work through them. I'm playing Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora
Okay. All
on
right.
the PlayStation 5. So I'm playing that.
Okay.
And I'm also playing Super Mario Bros. Wonder, the new game that just came out.
That's the one that just dropped.
That just came out not too long ago, and that's on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
So I probably play my Switch a little bit more.
Okay.
Like because I just have like a lot of games on there and a lot of games that are available for PlayStation, for
Yeah.
Xbox.
I was gonna
It's
say,
all
are you sort of, I don't want to say biased, but do you lean a little more towards Nintendo just because you kind of started with Nintendo?
probably I there's a soft spot for it, definitely.
I know what you mean. I
I
know what
used to be like, oh, I'm like, I love Xbox. I love Halo. Halo, I love. So I was
you
like, I really want an Xbox. But then I started looking at the different type of games, and then I'm like, they don't have that many like great exclusives that I
mean.
thought. And so I was like, okay, but like PlayStation has The Last of Us, it has Spider-Man, it has like all these other great games. So I was like, ooh, I opted to get the PlayStation in the end. Then I found out about the Game Pass Ultimate that
Hmm.
I'm able to like stream, like play these awesome Xbox games
I was gonna say that's
right
an Xbox thing, right?
as an
Okay.
Xbox game. So that's the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, specifically Ultimate, which means that I could play the games through the cloud.
Yeah.
So I have a Mac and Game Pass won't work on a Mac, but Game Pass Ultimate will because you're using it just
Okay.
through a web
Gotcha.
browser.
Okay.
And
Because I remember you posted a video like for a while you didn't have access to Xbox. Was that what
yeah,
it was? And then you got the Game Pass and it was like, okay, bye everybody.
yeah, exactly. That was just I recorded it like kind of as a short, but I
Yeah.
uploaded it as a long form video, and it's been my best video so far. It's got
Really?
almost 10K views. I'm like
Oh.
flabbergasted. I'm like, what's so special about this video? But everyone's commenting saying like, yeah, nobody knows about Xbox Game Pass.
Hmm.
Like, I'm like, people need to know. It's a fantastic service.
Hey Xbox, if you want to pay us, we're right here. Just saying. Okay. Okay, so how and when did your channel become a thing? Because that was the other thing that interested me. Like when I was at the height of my anxiety, I remembered just the idea of going on camera for people wouldn't have been a good thing for me. Wouldn't have been something I was open to. I mean, what sort of inspired it?
So it was really either like thankfully or not for the pandemic. I
Oh, okay.
when everyone was a little bit like stuck in their homes,
Mhm.
I just decided that I wanted to like I never posted much on social media, so I was never that kind of person. I kind of just hid in the shadows. But
Yeah.
then during the pandemic, I was like, I wanted to like try and like be an entrepreneur, but I
Yeah.
didn't know what to do. I love
Okay.
video games. I knew that. So then I started off by making like a cozy video games
Okay.
was the first initial handle. And I didn't know that Instagram is so big on like aesthetic and stuff. If you look at all these cozy gamer profiles, all their images look the exact same and
Hmm.
their kids look beautiful, but I wasn't into that, so it had like choppiness all over the place.
Yeah.
So I started off with that. I started dabbling with Twitch a little bit, and then I said I was going to start doing YouTube. I started looking more into how people start YouTube,
Yeah.
and it was just to try and get into it. I don't know. I just all of a sudden had this like change of thoughts. I was like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, and
So
it
was it a social outlet as much as an entrepreneurial endeavor?
was it social? Yeah. I did. I've met a few good friends through social media, through Instagram, through not specifically YouTube, but through Twitch. Like, yeah, it really has uh changed my social my social network a bit. It's been great. There's so many kind people out there.
So you started with the cozy gamer aesthetic, and then you kind of shifted into the I guess we'll call it the Cathy Plays brand.
Yeah, I have a mindset where I'm like I like an idea and then I go full force and then the next day I'll have a different idea, then I go full force. I changed my mind a lot. This current vibe has probably stuck the longest.
Okay.
I guess that's good. It fits. But yeah, so I started with the Cozy Gamer. I was really into that. And then I was like, but I like more than just video games. And so I started dabbling and going outward. And then I kind of lost my way. I was like, okay, now I need to pull back
Hmm.
for video games.
Yeah.
Um, I try making also YouTube videos about general wellness, making your life a
Right.
little bit better, finding the things that make you happy. And um I wanted to make videos on like productivity and like going for walks, how much water you gotta drink, and like all this stuff to like better yourself. Um, but that's all super saturated. So is gaming, but
Yeah.
I had a lot more fun with the gaming aspect of
I
it.
believe it. I believe it.
So I just at the beginning of January this year, this is where I really, really reeled it in and kind of have been putting in a little bit more effort into making this. And
Yeah.
it's been great.
I was gonna say, I mean, it
Great so
looks and
far.
feels like it.
Yeah, it's been really good. I wanted to I changed things up a little bit in my
Hmm.
life, and yeah, YouTube is something I would love to be able to like take off and like make as a
Oh yeah.
career. People
Hmm.
tell me it's super difficult, and I don't blame them. I believe them. It is very difficult, but it's fun. So I'm just trying to have fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with me as well with what I do with the comic book stuff on TikTok. I mean, that's my first priority is to have fun with it because if you don't
Yeah.
have fun with it, then it becomes work, and
Mm,
we've
exactly.
already got work, so we don't need more work.
No, we
Um,
don't.
so I noticed a lot of Zelda on your channel. Now, are you like in fact I said you're playing Ocarina of Time, or you just put up an Ocarina of Time video. So are you a Zelda girl? I mean, what gravitates you toward those games in particular?
Zelda, I think it was just one of the first major games that I played, like I
Mhm.
said, like with the story and just like hooked me. Just
Yeah,
hooked me. I think Ocarina of Time is my favorite game.
I was gonna say, what's the best one?
Is my favorite game. I would like it's really hard though. I gotta say it's like my favorite game, but it must be, I think it's a lot because of the nostalgia
Yeah.
component with like of the best games, like I don't know, like Twilight Princess is amazing.
Okay.
And um Tears of the Kingdom that I
Okay.
had like is brand new. That is amazing, but like it's hard to say which is the best because they're different.
I was gonna say there's probably different criteria depending on who you are and what you're looking for in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you which one's the worst.
Okay, but hey, we can go there if you want.
Uh, but no, they're all very different. And what I like is that there's differences that will probably um attract different people. So like
Okay.
some people might not like Tears of the Kingdom, but will love Ocarina of Time just because they're a little bit different in
No,
their structure.
I grew up with a place. Well, in my teenage years, I had a PlayStation, so I've missed most of Zelda.
Mhm.
Like, is that if I have to pick up one, is that the one we want to go with? We want to go with Ocarina of Time?
I would always suggest to try like Ocarina of Time first, even Link to the Past, because that's the old school,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mhm.
right? I'd say like before, if you've never tried Zelda's, go back to the earlier ones that
Okay.
look good to you, because then if you try Tears of the Kingdom, then you go back, your brain might just say,
Mm,
these graphics are gross, I don't want to play that. Because that's what
okay.
happens to me, unfortunately.
I was gonna say more on that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened with what I was going to ask you about was Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Because you and I we talked a little bit on Threads, and folks, if you're not on Threads, Threads is like Twitter but with less Nazis. Um, but with Final Fantasy VII, you mentioned you'd never played the original, right?
Yeah. No, I
Okay,
haven't.
have you played the remake, the Rebirth, whatever it's called? Because there's
I
two
think
games.
Rebirth. Yeah, so I'm trying to learn that. There's like Rebirth, Re something, and then there's like third one. So I'm confused on how they there's so many sevens.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so like to start off with that is I've never played a Final Fantasy game.
Never. Okay.
Um, but I saw that this number seven Rebirth had
Hmm.
just come out, and I've seen people playing the remake, and it looks really, really good. Like I've seen people saying really good things about it. So
Yeah.
on the PlayStation 5, there is a demo available for that game. So I downloaded it, but I haven't played it just yet.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I would like I want to jump in and like buy the game, but I'm like, okay, I don't know if it's really gonna be what I like. However, it looks like it's similar to like the Tales games. Oh,
Okay.
do you know those games like
Not
Tales of
immediately. Not immediately.
so like yeah, they're like Tales I think the most recent of Tales games is Tales of Arise. And there's like these
Okay.
very like JRPG type games and so they look similar, so I think I might like it.
Okay.
But they're very heavy with this they're very heavy story and so like
Yes.
I really need to focus.
I
Sometimes
think
I can't just play.
I think that's what attracted me to the original game is because I mean you start out simple and the story becomes so vast, but then
Yeah.
like you look at the graphics and it's like polygons on top of polygons and it's like okay, so I don't know, maybe it was the contrast or something, but I mean if I saw you posted at one point if you could be stranded on a desert island with one video game,
Yeah.
mine was Final Fantasy VII, for better or for
Yeah.
worse. The original one, the original one. That's mine. That's mine. What did you end up seeing yours was? Forgive me.
Okay, so I think I had said in the end Skyrim.
Skyrim. Okay. Okay. Awesome.
I loved just going in that game. I know I don't know, I can say like 10 years back now, like uh
Mhm.
just like adventuring around, just walking around on my horse and like finding caves and stuff, and it's so fun. Like I don't even need the Elder Scrolls Online. I just need
Oh yeah.
Skyrim. It
There
just
you
gives
go.
me enough.
There you go.
It's a lot of fun that game. I like it. So I think that would be like a game I would
Okay.
be stranded with.
So
I wouldn't mind.
so okay, let's say for a minute that you are a 40-something-year-old bald man who talks about comic books in his basement. And he wants to dabble in gaming a little bit more. You know, he's got kids, so he doesn't have a lot of time, but you know, he
It
wants
sounds like someone I know.
you know, we don't know, maybe. But where would you recommend someone like that start if they're curious about video games and want to kind of dip their toe in? Any advice?
Like it really depends on like a person's interests. And
Hmm.
that's a beauty about video games is that like the most rule book type person that loves um that A equals B type thing. Like
Hmm.
there's games for all these type of different personalities and interests of people. And so it's like really it goes back to like what do you enjoy to do? What
Yeah.
type of thing do you appreciate? Because I'm thinking like right off the bat, like if you're a person that just likes a little bit more like strategy, like the game and history, like
Okay.
civilization. Those civilization games, like it's very just like click click and then it
Yeah.
happens. And if you just want to like relive childhood a little bit and go back to when it all began, then like yeah, Super Mario World, like where I started.
Hmm. I was gonna say, is that a lot of where like nostalgia comes into the appeal of games for you sometimes, right? Like that's sort of takes you back.
I gotta say, like thinking about it, nostalgia is a huge influence on what I will play.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, Miss Kathy, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, no, I would like just to maybe say that like video games are something that maybe we were told when we were younger that like you're not going to be able to play when you're an adult. Like don't even think
Mm,
about video games as when you're an adult. I remember being told that I remember being like 16 years old thinking that when I'm an adult,
hmm.
uh, I shouldn't play video games anymore. And I remember being so stressed about that. But thankfully, like the world has grown to really embrace video games, and I've further than just allowed myself to embrace this. I get judged for it. I do. I get judged for liking video games and being quirky and having these interests. But you know what? They make me fun. There's a lot of
Yeah.
other people out there that enjoy the same things, and so these are the people that I want to interact with.
Hmm.
And that's what's important is that like you play video games and don't let other people tell you that it's weird or you shouldn't. Like I'm also tattoos. I was always told that, you know, uh don't ruin your body with
Hmm.
tattoos. You're a nurse. Nurses don't have tattoos. But I
Okay.
have my garden. I
Hmm.
have a Zelda tattoo.
Nice.
I have an arrow, and I plan to get a lot more and nerdy themed.
There you go. There you
And
go.
so basically it's just like, yeah, don't let anybody tell you that you're weird and video games are weird. Just like embrace it, have fun with it, and find like-minded people who's going to enjoy it as well.
I run into a little bit of that with comic books too.
Yeah,
I think there's a little bit of crossover between our audiences like that, but yeah, just let people like what they like, man. Just
yeah,
let them do their thing. Let them do their thing. All right. Well, you are on YouTube, Instagram, and Threads at Cathy Plays, Cathy with a C.
yes.
Anywhere else we can find you? You mentioned Twitch.
There's Twitch, that's also Cathy Plays. Some of these platforms might have two S's at the end because there's
Okay.
another Cathy Plays out there somewhere. And also on TikTok, but it's the
Okay.
same type of content as on Instagram.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Miss Cathy, we think you are awesome. I
Mhm.
want you to keep doing what you're doing. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's something that a lot of people have an interest in and have a vested interest in because they're experiencing, not only the video game culture, but they experience anxiety in their own lives. And I want you to keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And you too.
Oh, thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Miss Cathy.
Thank you.